Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. Well, this is the Derby sort of pre-match review with, this time we're doing it with Jay from Twitter, and he is at Pundit Jay, and he's to be honest, he's a United fan, but he's really impartial. I know it's hard to believe, but he is, and he writes some really interesting articles and also asks questions on Twitter. So go over and follow Jay on Twitter. Now, what we normally do is we send through, questions to each other. I'll answer Jay's, and obviously Jay will answer mine. So what I'd like to do is I'll have a look at the questions that Jay's just sent in. Obviously, apologies, I'm still in Bulgaria. I will be back on Friday lunchtime. I'll get from the airport home, get changed, and then I'll be driving straight into Manchester for the David White charity gig at the 235 Casino on Friday night. So don't forget, there are still tickets for that. You can contact David White on Twitter or Mark McCarthy as well. So please, or contact us and we'll put you in touch. Tickets are available. It doesn't have to be a team of 6. You can get individual tickets for £15. So it's going to be a wonderful night. So I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's the Pundit Jay. Got at me on the Twitter at PUNDITJAY. I'm also on the Facebook as well. Pundit Jay, 2 separate words, Manchester's very own street urban football pundit. But just say it how it is, mate. No beating around the bush or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Straight to the point, no bias. On with the preview. As I said, Jay sent through some questions to me earlier this afternoon. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and answer them as honest as I can. So first question, let's have a look. How does it feel no longer going into the Derby, or the Manchester Derby, as underdogs? It's a weird one. I mean, it's only a personal opinion. I still don't look at it as, we're clear favourites to win the Derby. A Derby is a Derby. It doesn't matter whether it's Liverpool, Everton, Spurs, Arsenal, United, City. Anything can happen. We saw last season, me and Ray were there, and it was 2-0. It was half time, and we're just thinking, oh my God, this could be another 6-1. But it wasn't. And you guys came back and obviously beat us 3-2, which ruined the day for us because we really wanted to celebrate winning, confirming winning the title on that day. So I don't look at it anymore as, or I don't at the moment anyway. Yes, we've had some recent success, significant success over what United have. But no, I don't go into it thinking, United are the underdogs now. Even though I'm certainly more confident that, that we'll put on a good show. So yeah, it's not. I personally don't go into it looking at it like United are the underdogs anymore. A derby is a derby. They're always one-off games. We've seen it in the past where, Liverpool have been beaten by Everton when Liverpool were on top, and Spurs have beat Arsenal when Arsenal were on top, and likewise with City and United. So yeah, I don't look at it that way. Okay, so here's my questions to Jay. So, question number 1. As a United fan, it must be difficult after years of success to be struggling to win things and having Man City being the tour de force in the Premier League. How does this feel? Right, so it must be difficult as a Man United fan after all these years of success, struggling to win things and seeing City being the tour de force in the Premier League. How does it feel? How does it feel? Listen, man, listen to me very carefully. It does not feel good. It does not feel good, and will never feel good, until United are back on top. Because when you've been winning, and you've been winning, and you've been winning, and then you get told that they're a noisy neighbour, and then come along and take over the whole street, you feel daft, innit? Like, you feel, I don't know, man, you don't feel good, you know what I'm saying? Because City are doing the thing. They've pumped in the money, yeah? They're winning the trophies. You know what I mean? They've got the best players. They play the best attractive football. So overall, yeah, there's nothing that I'm looking at that I can see that United are actually doing better than Manchester City today. Do you understand? So it does not feel good whatsoever. And obviously Manchester's been predominantly red dominated, innit? Because United have had the years of success. But
Now, boy, it's going to be a tough winter. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a very tough winter. Derby Day and all that. United are the underdogs. You know what I'm saying? It's flipped, man. And you know what, yeah? It might take a long time, do you know what I mean, before it flips back. So the feeling right about now for United fans, it ain't a good feeling. And it's never going to be a good feeling until it flips back again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so the second question then. What do you think it will take for City to be regarded in the same terms or stature as Man United? Again, and it might sound, repetitive, but as a City fan, I just don't look at it that way. I've never been one for sort of being, oh God, well, we're a much bigger team now and we're a bigger club. And I think it's not. I honestly think it's nonsense, because are we a bigger club? It depends. This whole debate and argument that people get into with we're a bigger club than you. Is that because you've got a bigger stadium and you have more fans? Well, okay, so you're a bigger club. We make more money than you, so we're a bigger club. Well, you make more money because you've got more fans and you've had more longer-term success over the last 25 years. So that income that you've been generating has been generated over, a quarter of a decade, not like we have, in all fairness, in 10 years. So it's not what I never look at it that way. I don't look at it and sort of say who is the bigger club, because all that happens when you ask that question and people get into a debate on who's bigger and which is bigger. One, you have to define what means big. Now, if you said trophy cabinet, of course United are far superior to Manchester City. If somebody said, well, we have a bigger attendance, City fans could come back and say, oh, hold on a second, you've never in the past, if we're talking about history, got anywhere near the record attendance that Manchester City have at Main Road. So, it's like, oh, one for you, one for me. I don't know. If you were to, Pep talks about history, and I think that's important. It is important. And you've certainly got you've got 10, 15, 20 year start on Manchester City. But that doesn't mean to say that we haven't got history. We've got a long history winning cups before the likes of United, before Liverpool, 50 years in some cases before some local rival teams have won trophies. Manchester City were winning trophies. So it's one of those questions that if I answered it in one way, people would argue against. If I answered it in another, people would argue against it. Everyone has their own opinion. It's one of those that I try not to get involved in, because it just ends up in nonsensical debates about what, we've got 21 titles, we've got 5 this, we've got 6 this. I mean, yeah, that's fine, that's all well and good. I tend to live in the here and now and think, in the days of, in the 90s in particular and early 2000s, United were the dominant force. In the 80s it was Liverpool, and then we had Arsenal, and then we had Chelsea for a short period. Now it's us. So will it continue? I think if we were to go on winning what we've won, certainly in the last, let's say 6, 7, 8 years, then for the next 10, 15 years, then our trophy count would certainly go up. Our status in world football would certainly go up. If we won a Champions League, that would go up. But I mean, it doesn't define the club for me. I'm just happy where we are right now and playing the football that we're playing. I'd much rather be turning up and paying my money to go and watch the style and brand of football that we're playing than somebody who won a trophy, who have won, let's say, 20 more trophies 5, 10, 20 years ago than us. For me, it's irrelevant because, yeah, when you're talking to your friends or family or kids or grandchildren or whatever, you can reminisce about history, and that's all well and good. But to actually be there watching the style and type of football that Manchester City are producing is much more important to me than who is bigger, who's got the biggest stature. It's that whole debate. I don't go there with it. It's my own personal opinion. I think you just got to end up going round and round in circles with it, if I'm being honest. Question number 2, to get back to where you were 5 or 10 years ago, what needs to happen at Manchester United?
For United to get back to what they were 5-10 years ago, what needs to happen? All right. Listen, if it was me, this is what would go down, yeah? Right. United have lost their identity, yeah? They've got no philosophy, yeah? And they've lost that attacking intent which they're known for, do you know what I'm saying? So personally, they need a philosophy and an identity. And once they've got that plan in place of what exactly they are, yeah, then you can implement a manager to come in and work with the philosophy and that identity. So, for example, United were known for attacking football under Fergie. Then you've employed Moyes, LVG and Jose Mourinho. Yeah, now none of them three have come to United and played attacking intent football, front foot football as I call it. Do you know what I mean? None of them have done it. So they've gone away from what exactly United do on the tin. Should be like Ron Seal, you do exactly what it says on the tin, but they've not done exactly what it says in the Manchester United tin. United are known traditionally for good attacking football. We haven't seen it. Do you know what I mean? Since Fergie's gone. So they need to scrap this plan, what they're doing. They've gone way off track. Forget all that. Do you get me? Bring it right back now, yeah? Get the plan in place, get the identity in place, then employ the manager that can work with that plan in it. And from there, I believe you build it from the youth team through the academy up to the first team. It might take a couple of years, you know what I'm saying? But as a United fan, you got to be prepared. United might be in the wilderness for the next 5 years, you know what I'm saying, while they put the plan into place. But at least, once the plan's done, they can say, at least we tried with a proper plan. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I believe needs to happen.
Okay, question number 3 then. If you had to build one statue for a player outside the Etihad since the Sheikh's ownership, which player would you tell Khaldoon and Soriano to build? For me, it's easy. I think everybody knows on Twitter and social media, my all-time Manchester City favourite player, and I've been watching, my first game was in 1977, and I've been following him ever since. Home and away and all over the place, is David Silva. David Silva, for me, epitomises the brand of football that we've been playing, certainly over the last 10 years. He's an absolute model professional footballer. He's just a simply incredibly gifted player. So for me, David Silva, there are some close runners. I mean, you could look at Sergio Aguero. Certainly, he'd be right up there and could easily be right up there if he's here for another 2-3 seasons and ends up going on breaking Premier League records. But for me personally, never any trouble. You never hear anything out of him other than positives. He's always, an 8 out of 10, a 7 or 8 out of 10 every single game. And just brings just pure class to Manchester City, and that's David Silva for me. I'd love to see a statue of him outside the Etihad, and I will definitely, I shed a tear the day that David Silva leaves Manchester City. So that's my answer, David Silva. Question number 3. Which United players do you think would get into this Manchester City team?
Which United players would get into this Man City team? Right, I'm gonna go through it. Yeah, no hanging about. Listen, goalkeeper Edison. De Gea's not getting in because Pep plays a certain brand of football, and Edison's better with his feet. Real talk. Do you know what I mean? De Gea's not, as much as great that De Gea is. He's not getting in. Defenders now: Walker, Stones, Laporte, and Mendy. I mean, Smalling. No United defenders getting in. They're not getting in. Do you know what I mean? Midfielders now: Silva and De Bruyne, no space whatsoever. Fernandinho. Looking at what Pogba, Matic, not getting in. Not getting in. There's no. My brain's trying to tell me there is a spot for someone. No, they're not getting in. Do you understand me? Then you go to the strikers now. Jesus, Aguero, Mane, Sane, Mahrez, Silva. No. Do you know what the only person that potentially would have been able to get in that City team if he was on form? Alexis Sanchez. But he's playing like the Chilean Bellamy. He's not getting in. Do you understand? So right about now, if I'm being totally honest, no United players getting into that Manchester City team. Straight up.
Question 4. Worst memory of a Manchester derby. Jesus, where do I start? Like I said, since 1977 I've been going, so I've seen plenty of them. Couple really. Last season was I was gutted. It was, me and Ray were walking out the stadium, and I was talking to some City fans walking down the stairs in the South Stand, and I just said, It's typical City, isn't it? It'll never leave us. So yeah, I really wanted us to, you know, clinch the title last season with a win against you guys, and at 2-0 up at half time. I thought, this is it, you know, this is going to be a wonderful day. And as it turned out, typical City, we lost 3-2. Gotta be, I know, in recent years, that Michael Owen goal, that 4-3, I mean, it was just, I was gutted, absolutely gutted. So we've been on the end of some right hidings, but I think that was in the days when we were crap, let's face it. But we've had some great days, you know, the 5-1, I was there at Main Road, the 6-1, wonderful scenes at Old Trafford. So yeah, I mean, the worst derby, it's between those two. Last season, and possibly the Michael Owen sort of 97 8th minute Fergie time winner was just, it was gutting, absolutely gutting. Question number 4. You had a choice of one player. Which Man City player would you choose to play for Manchester United right now?
Right, if I could take one Man City player for United, who would it be and why? Right. This is kind of easy for me, you know, because you know what? I'm a fan, yeah. I just want my team to win, innit? And I'm looking at Lukaku. And I'm sorry to say this, but he's not a number 9 killer for me, do you understand? So if I was to go over to the Etihad and pluck a man from your team and buy him, it'd have to be Sergio Aguero, wouldn't it? Because you know what? He's a chance taker. He takes chances, you know what I'm saying? Lukaku, the ball's bouncing off his ankles and his kneecaps and landing in stands and running out of play with the ball and all that, do you know what I mean? He's a good for Everton level type striker, but if I had to get one guy from you Blues, yeah, it'd be Sergio Aguero, and I wouldn't be giving him you back. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd just be taking him, I'm plonking him in my number 9, and I build my team around him. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'd have him up top because he's a killer. He's a real killer though. He's not one of these fake ones that come along for 1 season, 2 seasons, then you never heard of him and get sold off to Vitesse Arnhem and all them type of teams, or NAC Brada and Galatasaray and Fenerbahce and them teams. No, he's a killer. He gets the ball and he puts the ball in the back of the net ripples, you understand? So if I was to go and get a guy, I'd straight over to the Etihad, straight to Mr. Caldew, and I'd say, give me Aguero, thank you very much.
If City are found guilty of fiddling the books with the will this taint the achievements under the Sheikh's ownership? Well, I'll be honest with you, Jay, it's one of those that, you know, I mean, I think everybody's seen it over the last 2 days. It's been Twitter, social media has been absolutely dominated with it. I am not one of these financial experts who all claim to be. I'm not one that follows that side of the game. Ray is heavily into that side, and I do find it fascinating. You know, I listen to Colin on our channel talking about it. It's just not for me. Facts and figures and things like that, it doesn't float my boat, and it doesn't interest me, except for just to understand, you know, people who are more in the know on the financial aspects of football, what they think about it. Will it taint it for me? Absolutely not. My own honest opinion, and I've said it for years, and I think Martin Samuel summed it up perfectly in an article in the Daily Mail that he posted today. Martin Samuel's been banging on about UEFA, Platini and the bent corruption and everything with FFP that's been going on for years and years and years. And I posted today in reply to his article that Martin Samuel was one of the main journalists in the UK that has been writing about FFP for 8-9 years and basically saying it's illegal, it's corrupt, and it's wrong. And yet all these journalists, hundreds of them now, that are invading Twitter and social media, sort of claiming this and claiming that and claiming the other. Not one single article have I ever read, and I've read some wonderful articles by Martin Samuel, not one single article have I ever read has been by another journalist from another newspaper or the same or whatever, a freelance journo, actually arguing the case back to Martin Samuel to say you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong on this. Not once, but now all of a sudden we have hundreds of journalists spreading their name, trying to improve and increase their profile on social media, all sort of like, oh yeah, City this, James Ducker and, you know, the likes. And yet none of them over the last 8-9 years, I've had hundreds of opportunities. He's been on the Sunday supplement and everything with many journos talking about financial fair play and how it's wrong and it's illegal, and how it's just a restriction on trade. Not one journalist have I ever heard argue against it. So, which says to me, they all agreed with him. He was correct. And yet now they're all financial experts on FFP, and are just jumping on the bandwagon. So, yeah, like I said, it's not my thing. You'd be much better off talking to Ray about this, because, like I said, it doesn't float my boat. And to be honest, I put something on Twitter earlier. I'm pretty bored of it, and it's irrelevant, because you'll get opposition fans saying one thing, you'll get journalists who are affiliated to one club or support a club coming out and saying another thing, and then you've got City fans biting back, and etc, etc, etc. We don't know what's going to happen, but I'm telling you now, it certainly will not diminish what I think about what Sheikh Mansour has done for Manchester City, for the local community in that particular area. And with my only argument back to it would be is that FFP was brought in to protect the elite clubs. It's that simple. I mean, that's fact. I mean, Martin Samuels said this for years and years and years, and actually said it. If you ever go back and can find it, there's an audio of an interview. I think it's an audio, or it was an article. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody can correct me. Martin Samuel, interviewing on a private jet, was interviewing Michel Platini about it, and he said this. He said to him, "This has been brought in solely to protect the elite clubs," and Michel Platini did not deny it. He did not deny it. He couldn't come back with anything. He kept trying to change tact and talk about something else, and Martin Samuel kept pushing him on it, saying it's only been brought in to protect the elite. This is right, isn't it? And he wouldn't answer it. He knew. Of course it was. Martin Samuel's not stupid. He's a good journalist. So yeah, have City circumnavigated or done some little things? It wouldn't surprise me if they have. But at the end of the day, if UEFA wanted to punish Manchester City, and they really thought that they'd flawed the rules, however you want to term what City have allegedly done, then they could have pushed forward with it. But the fact that Man City turned around and said to UEFA that we'll take you to court over it. Now, if UEFA really believed that, you know, City had done whatever they were allegedly supposed to have done, then why didn't they fight it in court? Because UEFA knew that in a court of law, it probably would have been thrown out. It would have been another Bosman thing, and it would have destroyed UEFA. So where it's going to go, I have no idea. There are far more people more intelligent than I am, or more interested in that particular sort of side of the debate than I am. Because yeah, it's who knows what's going to happen, but it certainly won't taint it. Especially when you think one thing is the fact that, you know, Sheikh Mansour has invested, 1, his own money, 2, he's borrowed nothing, 3, he's cleared the debt, he's wiped the debt. I mean, let's face it, FFP was brought in to live within your means. Well, we've completely wiped out a debt of, I don't know how much it was, 200-300 million. That's gone. We owe nothing to anybody. And we've regenerated a really run-down area of Manchester. We've invested in an academy. You know, he's been absolutely wonderful, Sheikh Mansour. So I don't care whatever comes out in these leaks, whatever is investigated, and whatever. It's not going to change one thing, one iota of how I feel about what Sheikh Mansour has done for Manchester City. He's been an absolutely incredible owner. So yeah, there are some of the clubs that should really be looking at themselves on how they run their clubs and their business. And certainly, I mean, you know, Jay, and I've seen you and read some of your stuff on Twitter, that the fact that, let's face it, the Glazers have taken out nearly £1 billion out of Manchester United, and they bought the club on borrowed money. Now, is that ethically right? When we are investing our own money and getting our debt to zero, and being very profitable and investing more of the club's money into local community and things like that? Well, you know, answer that. and it might be a small part of the way of me answering your question to me. And question 5, what would be realistically a successful season for Manchester United this year?
What would realistically be a successful season for Man United? Right, successful season this season. Listen, top 4. Top 4. United ain't going to win the league, even though it's mathematically possible, yeah. There's still 9-10 points off it, but nah, they're not going to win the league, you know what I mean, if we're being realistic. And that was in the question, so if we're being realistic, it's top 4. Top 4, but you know what? Sound like an Arsenal fan, innit? And I'm not an Arsenal fan. That's what the Arsenal fans used to buzz about, finishing 4th. Oh, we got 4th. Nah, United shouldn't be aiming for 4th. But you know what? In these circumstances this season, yeah, because of the mess that's gone on, yeah, top 4, that's what they have to do. They have to try and qualify for the Champions League, do you know what I'm saying? Because they've been out of it a couple of seasons and had to win the Europa to get back in. Playing in Farmers Leagues and all that, do you know what I mean? To get Champions League football. To give me something to watch on a Tuesday and Wednesday night. Come on, man. Do you know what I mean? So, nah, we've got to get top 4. And to be honest with you, unless something miraculous, when I say miraculous, I'm talking like Moses parting the Red Sea miraculous, yeah? Unless something miraculous happens and United can challenge for the title, yeah, it ain't going to be a good season if they finish out the top 4. So, success this season, top 4, and a cup. A little FA Cup as a little sweetener, you get me?
Question 6. If you could buy one United player for Pep's team, who would you buy from United? Simple. Marcus Rashford. I think Rashford is an incredibly gifted player. He's English. He's got great talent. I just think he's wasted under Jose Mourinho. If you think what Pep has done for the players at Manchester City, what he has done for Raheem Sterling, can you imagine a player like Rashford under the coaching, the everyday coaching, proper on-field coaching and development that Pep Guardiola will give him? He could be a superstar. He's got all the attributes, all the gifts, all the talents. And he's English, and I really, really like Marcus Rashford. I've always said it. I'd love him at Man City. I think he would be a wonderful sort of like third option for a striker. And his development would just, it'd go like this. It'd fly under Pep Guardiola, who I think is the best coach in world football. So yeah, for me, Marcus Rashford, every day of the week. Some would say De Gea. He's a great keeper, but I'd still stick with Edison, if I'm honest, out the two. So Marcus Rashford, for me, I think he's a wonderful player, wonderful talent. Number 6, what is your favourite Derby moment?
Favourite Derby moment? Right, listen, there's nothing better than having a lasting memory, is there? Do you know what I'm saying? But do you know what? My best memory is my last memory. Pogba, Paul Labio Pogba, Etihad Stadium, blue air, 2-0 down at half-time, you get me? It was a comeback of all comebacks, you know. And do you know what made it even better? The whole world was watching. Everyone's seen it, do you know what I'm saying? So, you know what, that's my favourite derby. Listen, there's been many over the years, do you know what I'm saying? Like the Kanchelskis, I remember going to that game, you know what I'm saying? 5-0 at Old Trafford, there's been Cantona, there's loads, you understand me? But my favourite moment at the moment has to be the Pogba one. Do you know why, yeah? Because everyone was doubting him. Gary Neville was talking about his blue hair and all that before the match. The guy cost £90 million, you know? And you know what I seen on that day? I seen a £90 million man doing £90 million stuff. Do you get me? And that's what I expect from a £90 million to drag your team from the doldrums, you know what I'm saying, and lead them to victory. You know what I'm saying? So, to answer the question, that's my favourite derby moment. You know what I'm saying? Because that will live long in the memory of Man United fans. You know what I'm saying? We can't forget that. The Etihad as well. When you could have won the league. Listen, it don't get no bigger and better than that. You know what I mean? Spoiling the day. We spoiled your day, mate. Do you understand me? So, that's it for me, that one.
And your final question. Derby Day prediction. Hate this. I always say this on every video. I'm crap at predicting scores. I think it'll be a tight game. I think, you know, I think City looks like we've got Anthony Taylor reffing. That's going to be interesting. So, I don't know. I think it could be very similar to the last season's score of 3-2. This time, I've got to stick with Man City. So yeah, for me, I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be a close game. I think it could be quite a physical game. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a red card. But what I'm going to go for is Manchester City 3, United 2. And question 7, what's your score prediction for this weekend?
Score prediction. Score prediction. You know, it's always hard when it comes to derbies, you know, because but you just don't know what to expect in it on Derby Day. But you know what? I don't think United are going to win. I'll be honest with you. I think the best thing United can do is get a draw, is get a point out of it. But even then, I think it's going to have to be a Jose masterclass. I'll be surprised, yeah, if United win this derby. So, that tells me City now, wow, they dealt with Southampton. Ooh. Do you know what? I'm going to go 2-1. I don't think they're going to batter us. I don't think they're going to demolish us. But I think they'll beat us. I'm going for a 2-1 win, even without KDB. Because even the last game at the Etihad, without KDB and Jesus and Aguero, it should have been 4-0 at half-time if Sterling's floppy foot didn't come into play. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to go 2-1 City. A little hard-earned victory for Manchester City. That's what I'm saying. Alright, so that's it from me. That Pundit J, and I'd like to thank Andy from Man City Fan TV for the chat, yeah? Easy.
So anyway, Jay, listen, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you taking the time to ask me questions and also answering my questions on video. But anyway, don't forget, guys, follow him. It's at Pundit J on Twitter, and yeah, he's a really, really nice guy. He's for a United fan. He's very level-headed. He's not one of these biased United fans. He posts lots of interesting sort of questions and things on Twitter, so go over and give him a follow. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Don't forget, we'll be at the game at the weekend, and we'll be at the David White charity event filming from there on Friday night. But don't forget, subscribe to the channel. We're looking and pushing now towards that 5,000 followers, which is just amazing. So anyway, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. As I always say, we'll see you soon.